So you're basically telling me that any time is the right time to have a sizzle reel made. Like you might just have footage you're sitting on.
It's progress over perfection, If you have that mindset, like, oh, I have to wait until I get this or I get that, you may never get to it. And what I learned in the business is what matters is consistency and practice and letting the market tell you what you need to do next by putting stuff out there and building experience and confidence in yourself, which the only way to do that is to put yourself out there.
How are entrepreneurs like us daring bravely to build a stage, ditch the sweatpants, and step up to the mic? How do we create our own transformative events so we can get our message out into the world in a bigger way that's not only profitable, but it's actually something we can be proud of? That's the question. And the answers are inside this podcast. My name is Sarah Pfeiffer. Welcome to Green Room Central. Today I brought into Green Room Central Studios Todd Cribari, founder and CEO of Inspiro Studio, a full-service creative production agency based in Los Angeles, California. For the last 20 years, Todd has leveraged his filmmaking experience and storytelling expertise to inspire thought leaders, rock stars, authors, and athletes to think beyond the brand shot list and to vision the arc of the story they wish to create for their brands. Ultimately, to consider what inspired action they want their clients, customers, readers, and fans to take. Todd, welcome to Green Room Central Studios. Say hello to Lynchpin Nation.
Hi, Sarah and Lynchpin Nation.
I'm so excited that you're here today because I feel like this is 2 years in the making to get you onto this show. I'm so excited that we get to tap into your expertise because you have been in the event world as long as I have and have so much to share with us. And I know we could go so many different directions, but I want to go today deep on sizzle reels because you're so good at it. And I thought perhaps where we get started would be just for those who may not know, and they've probably experienced one or two or a dozen, but can you just tell us what is a sizzle reel kind of at its core?
Sure. So to me, a sizzle reel is like a hype video that's concise and it's, super engaging. It shows the essence of the product or service or event. And it really gives you that feeling accelerated or even elevated of what it might be like to be there, in person.
Yeah, so good.
Or experience the product or service,
So basically just, the video that sells the next event.
Yeah, I mean, it's selling the brand and depending on the purpose of it. Yeah, we have different variations where some are a little more general to sell the overall business or service. And then there's others that are like, hey, this is a video with the end game or the outcome is to get people to the next event and make them want to be there.
I suppose another version of a sizzle reel is selling a speaker, someone who wants to get on stages, right?
Exactly. And for most speakers, they're trying to create something that is, tapping into the essence of their greatness and making them, bigger and better than the experience itself. So, we're all normal people. And if you're going to an event, there's highs and lows and there's different vibes throughout the entire day, or depending on the segment or section of the video or what we're doing. So with a sizzle reel or hype video, you want to just be pulling those great moments and those special qualities or share those special qualities of the speakers so that, someone watching it doesn't have to kind of guess or, fill in the gaps of like what some of the great moments may be. It's like, it's there in your face. You feel it, you see it, and you want to be around that person.
Love that. So today I want to go deep on the sizzle reels that you produce to get people into an event. And what I want to know next is, when is the right time to have a sizzle reel made? How does a business know if it's like their next right action is like, hey, we gotta bring in somebody and film this one to sell the next one?
Yeah, so for me, I'm very kind of tapped into the video's purpose is usually to elevate or convert business.
Yeah.
Make speakers or producers money so they can fuel the dream, fuel the messaging, fuel the building of a bigger company that can reach more people, right? So I think the tool itself is immediately, like, so you might not have the best sizzle reel in terms of all the coverage and footage you need, but the minute you have anything, like I've made sizzle reels for people that I didn't even shoot, where they just had the random footage that they've acquired, up to the point of talking to me, and they're talking to me about making a sizzle reel, and I say, well, we can work with what you have, and then we could continue to update that, because again, the sizzle reel gets you on stages, the sizzle reel gets you more business. So you can get on a phone or a Zoom call and you can talk and sell yourself and try to let them know, hey, I'm going to be great and this is what I do. But there's nothing better than actually showing them a sample of you doing your thing.
Right.
So, and a video or the sizzle can always be updated, So I always look at it like, on an update, where's the weakest link? Let's remove what we thought at one point was our worst footage or are not our best moments, and let's take that out, and then let's up level it by starting there. Let's put the new footage there, and then you're constantly, elevating the quality and the production value as you get new footage.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
And I was going to say, my background before I was even in this space, I started in the entertainment business, and I was a production assistant on music videos and commercials. And in that experience, I saw, what they were doing to tell these really hyped short stories, in a short format. And like that's where I learned. That was my stomping ground of learning how to make an exciting, entertaining, really colorful and beautiful product. So I took that experience, and when I went in the speaker space, I think that was what my edge was, where you're kind of in a corporate, semi-corporate world where a lot of things are kind of drone-ish and mellow and conservative because nobody wants to step out of the box or offend anybody or do whatever. And I was like, no, let's make this thing exciting. Let's get wild. Let's make you look like a rock star. Let's use our favorite music that goes with your brand, that makes you feel good, that makes your people kind of get a feel for your personality. And let's make it fast cuts. Let's do some cool editing, and let's do some good setups that make it different.
Yeah.
And I think that was what people liked, is what I was bringing in from another industry to kind of add some color to what most people think is kind of like a talking head business,
Right.
Which I personally am not a fan of myself. I do it, and I still try to make my lighting and my production, top notch, so that it feels like we're doing something bigger than just, put up a key light and roll. But that's just my taste. And I try to bring that to everything that I'm doing.
Right. So you're basically telling me that any time is the right time to have a sizzle reel made. Like you might just have footage you're sitting on.
It's progress over perfection, you know? If you have that mindset, like, oh, I have to wait until I get this or I get that, you may never get to it. And what I learned in the business is what matters is consistency and practice and letting the kind of the market tell you what you need to do next by putting stuff out there and building experience and confidence in yourself, which the only way to do that is to put yourself out there. So if you're not putting yourself out there, you're delaying success of what your potential could be.
Right.
So for me, because I make the product, I'm not going to tell people, oh, let's not, do anything. No, I'm going to push people to do things and make videos and do sizzles and highlight reels and recaps and replays, because that's what we do. So I believe in it, and I see the sooner you do it and get started on it, the more you can learn more about yourself and your brand and what you're really trying to do. You don't have to know everything out the gate. You learn so much more by putting it out there, getting the feedback, and reflecting on your own performance or delivery or process, and constantly updating and upgrading and building a foundation that you can expand on.
Let's talk about that kind of foundation piece, because I know a lot of people probably know that bringing someone like you into their event to film a sizzle reel for the first time is a significant investment. It could be upwards of 5 figures. And I'm wondering if our listeners would be questioning, well, how long is the shelf life of one of these videos? And do we need to film a new one every year? Is this a line item I need to put in the budget every single year? And I have a hunch people might be surprised by the answer. What would you tell us?
Yeah, I would say, well, that comes up like all the time.
Really?
And having experience in the business and being around a lot of high level speakers and influencers and business owner entrepreneurs and whatnot, experts say, I started to kind of laugh a little bit about that, because everybody's talking about the big dreams and the money and the okay, I want to make, lots of money or millions of dollars, or we're going to sell this many products at this price. We got an offer and we got this and we have all these things going on. And then the one thing that could help them achieve all that, they're not willing to invest in it, or they're really, like you're saying, nervous about it. And I find that funny, because to me, it's the first thing you should be doing. If you expect those results, you need broad reach, and you cannot yourself be everywhere all the time, but your video can. Your video can be
working for you 24/7.
Selling. And while you sleep, people can be watching your video late at night or in another country, so it can do things that you just can't physically, and it can make you look even better. So if you're looking for that success and you want the results, the first thing you should invest in is quality marketing material that is going to get more eyeballs on what you do. Okay, so
yes,
when I make a video, I'm not saying that we should make a video for every little thing you do. It's like, no, let's make this flagship product that represents the product or service or yourself, and then we're going to not have to redo it every time you have an event, or because a lot of these events are very similar. You change the crowd, you change maybe the location, and in some cases I've had people want me, let's say we do a retreat in North Carolina, and then there's another one on the West Coast in San Diego. So yeah, that's going to look a lot differently, and there might be a different vibe. One might be a mountain retreat, another one in Utah, another one's a beach thing in Diego. So yeah, in those cases, you want the footage and you want the memories, and you could make separate products, which we've done, but for the most part, most of them are templates that are repeating at the same place, or if it's not the same place, it's in a ballroom in a different location that you wouldn't even know where it is. Yeah. So the stage, the set, the material, and the production itself is a rinse and repeat, because it's cool, it's what the business is offering, right? But they're doing it once or twice a year, year in, year out. So what we do is we make that first video, we go all in, and then you're going to have a video that I'm hoping has a shelf life of, say 2 to 4 years, right? And what we do is that we then just upgrade it, we update it, and as we get better stuff, it's a much smaller investment along the way to just make it a little bit better, or change the things that we didn't like, or, in some cases I've had people, look a little bit differently, and so they want some of that old footage out and put in the new current version of themselves, or whatever, or the updated product. So it might be a bigger investment in the beginning, but the investment kind of goes down while your business is going up. So to me, it's a no-brainer to make that investment and then watch your numbers go up, and then you just have to kind of, trickle in some more investment to the product when you see fit. But a good video has legs. A good video, and as we know, when you're in it and you're in the business, we know like time goes by. Like next thing you know, we're halfway through the year.
Fast.
And next thing you know, you're like, wow, we're coming around. Just like right now,
Yeah.
2024, we're all gearing up for a new, fresh year. And it's like, where did the time go? And the videos that we're using for 2024 are fresh as ever. We might look at them and go, okay, what do we need to do? No, we don't need to update this time, maybe next time. And then we talk about what are we going to shoot on the next event that we don't have, or what do we need to tell the story a little bit more clearly than we have currently. So things like that.
So what I'm hearing is it's all about creating a relationship with your videographer and investing in the beginning, and then creating that strong relationship so that you're kind of checking in frequently to know, like, do we need to record some new pieces, swap out some pieces?
Sure. Well, that's my business model. I don't look at one-offs. I don't look at jobs as one-off job situations. Yeah. I look at everything as a relationship. Yes. That if I'm meeting someone and have a meeting with them, in my mind, I'm expecting to be working with them and seeing them and talking to them in 5 years and in 10 years. That's just a way I approach it. So the conversation from me is always going to be about what we're doing now and what we're going to do in 3 months, 6 months, next year. I walk them through the vision of what I'm thinking, because a lot of the clients, they don't have the same creative vision or mindset that I have to do what I do, because they do something totally different. And when they're talking their language sometimes, or what they do, I'm kind of like, that stuff's going over my head. But I love it because I'm learning. I love talking to these experts who know more than I know about their field, because I get to work with them, and then I come out of it a better version of myself, bigger, faster, stronger. So yeah, I'm looking at it like a relationship and a long-term investment. So
yeah, so what I'm hearing, this is not transactional for you. This is strategic, like you're partners. And that's why working with you is different. And that's probably why you get such different results for your clients. The marketing pieces you create are so much more effective because you're truly partners.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, I've learned it over the years. Some of the lessons I learned in my process, and other lessons I've learned the hard way. Like anybody else, just trial and error, and then being around just high level, intelligent businessmen and women and experts in their
Right.
field. Like I said, I've been able to learn from them. And I remember at one point learning something that I've never forgot. And it goes into the conversation we're having now. And they said, always put the relationship before the transaction. Always. And so that's an intention I set regardless of the goal. In some points of my career, money was important. I needed a job to pay my bills or
Yes.
get to the next investment that I
We've
was
all
going to
been
make in
there.
my business. We were all, yeah. So it's a constant thing of like, you're trying to be centered and be connected in a relationship, but the transaction and the money's on your mind because of your personal situation. And I feel like I had to work at that to shift it and set the intention prior. And if you create a great relationship and you make a quality product, you don't have to worry about the money. The money just happens and it comes, and the referrals come and they happen. And so I just focus on that. I focus on connecting and making a great relationship occur where people, want to work with you. And then I focus on making a great product, and I let all that speak for itself. When you've been doing this at the level that I'm at, what you find is that there's a lot of other great, talented, creative people out there that do great work.
Yes.
So you can't just push your ego on people and act like I'm the best. The facts are the facts. In every industry, there's great people doing what you do. So what's the differentiator, right? The differentiator is yourself. And so I look at it like they can make a product, but they can't be me. And the me is the one who's interacting with the client, who's focusing on that relationship and the uniqueness of it, the love and the connection of it, but also the experience. So when I'm working with people, I'm trying to think about what the experience is going to be that's going to separate me from the next filmmaker. So they're going, well, I can work with them, or I could work with Todd and Inspiro Studio and his team, and like they both do great work.
Yes.
But what's the difference? They're like, you know what? I love the experience working with Inspiro because they put so much into that relationship and the process and the experience of getting the high level results that's what keeps people coming back.
Yeah, it's just more fun.
And it's I mean, fun's part of it, professionalism's
Yep.
part of it. You get to know me, you realize I have some perfectionist, obsessive qualities that I've learned to manage over my career, but they are my gift and my curse, right? So I'm always looking at the details. I'm always expecting the best out of myself and my team. And when clients get around that, they see that we're doing that for them. We're doing that for their product. And I think they like that, and so you want to have fun. You don't want to get, crazy town on things that don't really matter. But I think I have a pretty clear understanding of what matters and what doesn't, and where we need to push and where we need to be like, you know what, that's could have been better, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect conversions, or we can change that next time. And let's stay positive, right?
Let me ask you, for someone who's shifting their mindset into, okay, this feels like an investment that I need to make and I'm ready to make. What does it look like to get started? How about what questions would you ask somebody? Like, what would you expect them to know or try to get out of them when you're starting the process of building a sizzle reel for them to sell their next event?
Yeah. So quickly in our initial general conversations, I can already tell and feel kind of where people are at, and my goal is to meet them at that place. I'm not trying to tell them, oh, well, you need this, this, and this, and this before you can even talk to me or do anything. I'm always looking at the potential of the person, the potential of the product or service. And if I see it, if I feel it and I have a vision for it, then I will meet them where they're at, because I have come in on people that have had 20, 30 years of high level success, and they want me to come in and deliver the home run. And money's not an object, and they don't even talk about money. They just say, let's get it done. And then I've worked all the way with startups where people are kind of taking their first step towards success, or they're in the middle of the development of an idea, but I can see that they're a great person. They have a great idea. And that's what really got me into this world of for myself. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I'm a creative entrepreneur. Since I was 15 years old, I always wanted to do my own thing. So whenever, now that I'm much older, whenever I meet people who are in that space, it lights me up, because I know exactly what it feels like. I have the passion for it, and it doesn't bother me at all, because I know we're going to succeed, and I know they're going to hit their goals and make their money, and they're going to be able to afford whatever they want. And then a sizzle reel or a video or content creation is really like low-hanging fruit for them, because they're already looking at new homes and cars and reinvesting in their business, because they're going to do something like this, a podcast or a studio or a new product line or campaign. So I just try to get with them where they're at, meet them there, and then use my experience to say, what I see from where you're at, this is what the next move is, and this is how I can help you. Or if they don't agree, or they feel like there's still a gap between us, we leave the bridge intact and the space open to revisit and meet up at another point when maybe things are more aligned. But, one-off jobs for me now, unless they're just, a massive goal, or like something that's just a really big project that could last over time, or the production and the pre-production is going to take a lot of time to do. Those are fun for me. But if they're just like, a one-off little, hey, do this for me, and I want a deal, and I don't want to pay this, and but I want to. They spend hours talking about themselves and like all the things they want and what they're going to get and all the money they're going to make. I'm not interested. I just kind of like graciously say no, or offer them a referral, or just be honest about not being in alignment, because I can tell that that's not the mindset that I've seen in the successful clients I've already worked with. So I don't take it personal, or I don't get offended by it. It doesn't excite me.
So when you're having that initial meeting with them, does it matter if it's a mastermind or a conference that they're selling? Or I'm wondering if people think that my event needs to look a certain way before I could have you come film it.
I make whatever look good. So, that's not just blowing smoke. That's just what you're supposed to do as a creator, is make any situation look bigger and better than it is. So if you've got a room of 50 people, right? That's pretty awesome. Yeah. That's a mastermind, or even 25. But you're in a room that holds 500. Yeah. That doesn't look so good. So you don't show the empty space. You use techniques that are only focusing on the action and what is happening that people want to see. I mean, you just kind of work around it, from the composition of your shots and the coverage to the lighting and the set design and the things like that. So, there's the truth is these days there's no excuse to not create content anywhere. You've got people. I'm not going to say kids or amateurs or whatever, but you have people creating content with nothing but a phone and nothing but themselves and them and their energy, and they are attracting thousands, in some cases millions of people around the world that want to see what they're going to do next. I was just watching a video yesterday of someone with a jump rope, and I was like, wow, I want to watch. This is interesting, and this is fun, and this is like, it's got a vibe, and they're stylish, and they got the music and whatever. And then I looked at their following, and it was like hundreds of thousands of people are watching this person jump a jump rope. And then I saw that they have courses on how to jump rope and how to do these moves. And I was like, they're right there. And I bet that person is creating all their own content. So I'm not saying that you have to always hire someone, but I am saying that video is the most powerful thing right now to use in marketing, in generating engagement. Like, hands down. I mean, it's facts. More people are watching video and using video than any other form.
So you're saying that we don't have to have a certain type of event or a certain size of event in order to get started.
Well, okay, so I want to jump on this right now, because now we're tapping into like where I usually go with clients, which is more of the psychology. When you start talking like that, you're immediately limiting any possibilities. You're putting a box around what's even the potential.
Tell me more.
Because the difference between success and not success is belief. I have seen amazing people with amazing ideas that don't believe in it, and people can feel that, and it lands flat and it doesn't go anywhere. And then I've seen people who have basic ideas with a knowledge base that is common and everywhere, but they are on fire. They believe in it. They are pushing it. They are attracting people. They are selling it. They are drawing people into their world. And I find that range of scenario like super fascinating. Not just for other people, but I even look at it in myself and my own business, there's things that I think about doing that I do for other people. And then the minute I want to, make it happen, I get the nerves and I go, oh no, what are they going to think? And oh no, imposter syndrome. And, maybe it's better if I'm just behind the camera or just, I'm just going to work on their stuff, forget my stuff, but I know that's the wrong decision. I know I'm failing myself at times when I think like that. So when you start saying should I have this size? I don't believe in any of that. You should go. It's go time. It's like, do it now and pull your future self closer to reality. Build a relationship with your future self that you love, instead of putting up walls and fighting with yourself all the time saying, I can't do this because of that, and this is not ready yet. Whatever. And I'm going to say one more thing on it, is that I've made the same mistake that I ended up learning in this process of the perfectionist thing can paralyze you, there's a saying with that, like perfectionism creates paralysis or whatever it is. I forget what the actual thing is. But it's a true statement. And the minute you start overthinking, you're gonna hurt yourself. You got to lead from like your heart space of like, I want community. I want to share my idea or my ideas. I want to help people. I'm not selling anything. I'm sharing an opportunity, and if you want the opportunity, I'm here for you. If you don't, awesome. I'm still here for you. Like when you have that, it's just a totally different way of looking at things. And you can't, or you shouldn't, look on the specifications and the parameters of things of you got to have this to have that, or you need this size, all that is over analysis. It's like, just get to it.
And so what I'm hearing is the time to get to it, in your words, is I have a vision for where I'm going with this brand, with this event. And as long as I have that vision and a little of that belief, that's the right time to come and share it with you and start creating version 1 of the marketing materials, the video marketing materials. And would you say that's true?
Absolutely. Okay. You mean, you said it right there, which is if you have an idea and you want to share it and you have a very strong belief and desire that it's something that is going to benefit the world, you got to believe and have more faith that your ideal client, or the public is more intelligent than most people think it is. They can sense it. They just know. Have you ever been around someone where you're just like, wow, I can see this thing, and my mind is like going off with ideas because this person is amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they're doing. I want to be around it. I want to be a part of it.
I've had that happen a couple times actually in the last couple of weeks, and one of them, the people even said, well, it's okay. You can borrow some of my belief in you until you have enough of your own. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. Well,
totally.
So,
oh wait, I was going to say too, that with that, everything's going to, it's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's kind of like, look at the, as a metaphor, like look at the evolution of the car, like look at what we're driving now, but look at where it started. But did the car in the 1950s do the same job? Did it get you from A to B? It did. But so the concept was always there, always. But the evolution of it needed to happen through a process and through time, right? So everybody has to understand that with whatever it is they're doing. If you put yourself so far out of the vision and you're like, oh, I can't, I'm so far from what I really want this to be, you're never going to take that first step. You're just going to freak yourself out. You've got to be where you're at with your idea. You got to do the first iteration of it. And then you already know that the belief and the passion for what it is you're creating is there, and you're going to work on all these things. So when people say, oh, well, it needs this or it needs that, or you're like, tell me, I know, this is what I already know. And I want new ideas. I want everybody to invest and share and see what I'm doing, because it's going to make it better,
right. So let's say I'm already good. I'm busy. I'm running a 7-figure business, and I know it's time to get a new sizzle reel made. What is required of me, because my time's super valuable, in order to get one of these made?
Yeah, all that's required is, my company has like a creative
Mm,
brief that if we're making something at a high level, I'll send it over to the client to fill out, and it's got all the pertinent information that I would need for details, everything from branding to company mission to project and the project mission and what's the goal of and the end result of what we're trying to achieve with it to any assets and materials you already have or what do we need to create that we don't have. So if they're not quite there and that's just 90% of that's not going to get filled out, then I kind of just again meet them where they're at and ask them what they have. You need they either have an archive of footage or materials that they already have created from up to the point they're at that could be used in a video. They do need to sit down. I would suggest sitting down and identifying and brainstorming with yourself and identifying what your objectives are, and also like what is your brand
mm,
identity, what is the ideal market for the product, so that when we have a conversation, you're just helping me understand the vision of what you want, and then I can take that and run with it from that point and add on. So you need to either create some assets you don't already have, or you need to talk to me about creating something that would help in the process. It, it just varies on where people are at.
yeah. Because I imagine that conversation about what the brand is about, what the product is, that kind of thing, really helps inform your shot list so that when you're at their event, you're capturing the angles and moments that will tell the story that they need to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've made the mistake in the past and even recently where what you're actually shooting is what's
Hmm.
happening, but it's not the way we want to market the
Sure.
product.
Yeah.
So you actually have to have the idea in your mind of and be able to clearly separate from what's happening to how we're going to market this, because in every event there's things that happen that for a cameraman it's like boom, I'm shooting that, that's
Yeah.
cool, I'm getting that, but if it's not ideal for where they want to go with the product, they're just going to tell you, yeah, we don't want to show
Yep.
that, we don't want people to see that, it's not really you know something that we're looking to get more of, because that you want to market what you want to attract more
Yes.
of,
Yes.
and you know what I'm saying, and don't show and don't market what you want to do left, because you're shaping your business as you evolve, so therefore your marketing has to have that in mind. you know let's shape it for the company or the product success that we want to have,
Where we're going,
if
that
that makes any
that 3 to 5 year
sense. Yeah,
vision.
where
Let's
we're
have that in
going.
mind.
Yeah, because like you said, you might not be where you're currently
Mm.
at, you know um, so y- there's a very distinct difference a lot of times, so the conversations we have will dive into that, but what I have found is with the access to information and the elevated intellectual levels of most business people
Mm.
these days, this whole brand conversation and this entrepreneur space is pretty common knowledge stuff, like at least at the base level. And most people I talk to are already knee deep in these conversations with themselves
Right.
and their business and their partners. So they understand what you're talking about. It's not like, 20 years ago.
Or even in different industries right now. But I think in this expert thought leader influencer space, people are pretty dialed in on who are you
Yeah, they're
serving?
dialed
Mhm.
in. It's taught to them, early on in a lot of the marketing spaces that they're in. You can get the knowledge through the products and the service and the campaigns, but that are out there, or even on YouTube. You know, YouTube's become this whole DIY space. Anything you want to know, you just kind of watch a video on it, and next thing you know, you know it. The information age that we're in, a lot of the basic stuff is common
Yes.
knowledge. That's what I'm saying. So I'm usually speaking to very intelligent people that either already have success, or they're just smart and they get it, and they're ready to run, and they don't want to work for people anymore. They want to do their own thing. So they're
Right.
ready to go. And we're in there, you know.
So if someone's listening right now and they're thinking like, okay, Todd sounds like a pretty cool dude, and I would have to say they're right in thinking that, and they want to work with you, what's the best way to get in touch with Inspiro Studios?
We have a general inbox at info@inspirostudio.com. You can inquire there as well.
Perfect. I'll link all that up in the show notes.
Okay, cool. And I'll respond to anybody that's reaching out that wants to talk about their ideas. Doesn't matter where you're at. I'm open to talking and seeing what we can do together and what we can create.
Oh, I love that.
Help you succeed.
Todd, I feel like we could talk all day. I have like a half a dozen questions I didn't even get to. This has been so fun, and I know this will be the first of many conversations on the podcast. I have a hunch about that. I'm grateful that you shared information about Sizzle Reels today. I know that it's going to help some people who are on the fence and finally, hopefully, push them over and be like, okay, it's time right now. So thank you for coming on today. This has been so fun.
Thank you. It was awesome. I love working with you. I love what you do, and everybody should know that you are a master of your craft. And if they're not working with you, they should be, because you've definitely helped produce a lot of great projects that I've been involved with. So
thank you.
Thank you for everything you do. And yeah, I would say to anybody watching, or listening, you gotta dive in. You gotta go for it. The difference between you and the person next to you is going to be grounded in belief. And if belief is your issue, then there's the first place you need to start putting time and effort into personal development, into confidence building, into growth on any level. And that will be the seed you plant in yourself that'll help great things happen.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. It's reminding me of this Instagram post I saw this week, and someone showed a picture of their first event from 2 years ago, and then the event they just had. And the first one was like 25 people, and this one was like 250 people. And it was just this post of gratitude of kind of, they had the belief at the beginning, like they knew that this could become something great, and they're still even shocked at how fast the growth went. And still, they have such big dreams for where they're going, and they're just so darn excited about it. And I think, I know Sizzle Reels play such a huge role in that. There are events where I have watched the Sizzle Reel, and I have already decided I'm going. And I know it's not this year. I know it's not this event, but they've already sold me for the next one, or the one 2 years now or 3 years from now. They're that good. They're that powerful. It like puts me in the mindset that I need to be in there, and I need to feed off of that energy. And I'm grateful that there's talented people like you who are able to make those, because getting in the room changes people's lives.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here talking, about all my knowledge and experience of what I do, but I'm the same as anybody else. I've made mistakes. I've not done my best work. I've had clients tell me, we didn't quite do it. We didn't quite hit it. And I've had to eat it. I've had to eat the humble pie and get back to work and get back on the horse and get after it, and there's nothing worse than having someone say they didn't like the work, or you messed up, or whatever. But I was trying, and I was fully committed, and that just helped me more. I learned more from it. I jumped back on. I got back after it, and I right the wrongs. I up level my skills, my gear, my effort, my preparation, because I don't ever want to hear that ever again. So that's the mindset you have to have. That what's the sports saying is there's no L's, there's just learning.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
You take
totally.
a loss, you just
And
learn.
that's just a winning mindset that you have right there. That's why I want to work with you. Todd,
All right.
thank you
Well,
so
thank you
much
again.
for being here. Make it an outstanding rest of the day. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Green Room Central podcast. If you loved this episode, then please take a screenshot on your phone and post it to Instagram, and be sure to tag @SarahFafer and let me know why you liked it and what you'd like to hear, or who you'd like to hear from in the future. That'll help me know what to create for you. The number one thing I'm asked by CEOs, whether it's their first event or their 20th, is, Sarah, how do I get more butts in seats? And so I put together a guide for you. Head over to fillingevents.com for your free copy of 107 ways to fill your event. I want to help you quickly master event marketing and fill your events, even if you've never done it before. I've scoured the online business world and found 107 of my favorite strategies working right now to fill your next in-person or virtual event. Create the event promotion plan you need from these easy-to-implement, customizable strategies for free over at fillingevents.com. I appreciate your commitment to leveling up and learning the mindset and strategy of live events. Keep going. Keep learning. If you want more, head over to greenroomcentral.com for show notes and all the links from today's episode.